Okay, so welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Super Mega Baseball 3 on the Nintendo Switch. Having lived in America myself now for 4 years, I've embraced the sports available to me, and baseball, it was very much high on that list. The question today though is, can this one do the sport justice, or are you better off just looking elsewhere? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So having played the really amazing Super Mega Baseball 2 to death at this point, I've come into Super Mega Baseball 3 with extremely high hopes. So if you are new to the series, while this does have cartoon visuals and we'll address that later, it is somewhat deceiving because it actually masks a pretty realistic game sitting somewhere between arcade and sim. Yes, I know you would think this would be like an NBA Jam, you know, over the top action, but you will be disappointed if you come here looking for that. Super Mega Baseball as a series is very much trying to capture the magic of stepping up to the plate and then feeling the pressure. At a core level though, come to this game to select from one of 20 unlicensed teams to get to work across 14 stadiums. That's 4 new teams and 4 new stadiums in comparison to last year's entry. So when it comes to the gameplay this year, it's largely the same formula, understandably, but with some tweaks to really fine-tune the whole experience. First up, pitching, choose where you'll be aiming, select the pitch type between normal or power, and yeah, let it rip. Sounds simple, but it's not thanks to the aim mechanic Super Mega Baseball utilizes. It's the idea of moving the aim reticle to your selected target before it locks in place. With normal pitches, you can expect just a quick tap of the button and then move it before it does auto lock. Power mode though, you'll actually need to hold down the input and release it at just the right moment to give you a percentage power boost. Time this wrong and that reticle will fall to pieces and basically explode, and you can pretty much write off that pitch as useless. During pitching 2 now, they've added a much needed ease of access option. This allows you now to throw the ball to any of the bases to stop anyone from making a run for a steal. It wasn't complicated, but this use of the D-pad was so desired, and it's a very nice inclusion. So batting, and again like pitching, should feel instantly recognizable to veterans of the series. Here you line up your aiming reticle with the incoming pitch and swing away. Batting, obviously, it's very much based on timing as you make sure you place it so you can get that connection between the bat and ball. Now when at bat, expect 3 swing types available to you. We've got contact, power, and then bunt. Well, contact and bunts, they're just a simple tap of the corresponding input. Power, very much like the power pitching, requires you to hold down that input, building up the power before releasing it for your swing. It means that all the inputs require a slightly different approach when it comes to timing. Build up that swing though from power too long, and again, like pitching, expect that power to diminish quickly. During batting now too, notice the different size of reticle. This is because players with better stats will be given more forgiveness in regards to like how accurate you need to be. This then, it's also, well, everything in the game actually is impacted by the ego rating that you put in place. This is essentially the game's difficulty options, ranging from 0 all the way up to 100, where these teams will just simply annihilate you. During at-bat moments then, also expect to be managing the teammates around you, whether it's subbing someone out or maybe even looking for the opportunity to steal a base. With this year's entry though, I will say it feels like there's been a decent step up in difficulty across the board, with pitching and batting, while controls they're largely the same. Positioning the aim reticle is different. I'd say it's actually more difficult, it's more sporadic in the way it moves, but it also meant I had to pay more attention so I could always track exactly what was happening on screen. Last year I kind of got it down quickly. This year it just always feels slightly different, which really does make for a more exciting game. Then as well, no matter the ego rating you choose, the AI opponents this time around, they feel more intelligent and they just seem to make wiser decisions, even to the point where they exploited some of the bad calls that I made during, well, a lot of the games. So when you have a ball flying towards you then out in the field, it's largely the same as past entries, and I will say why fix what's not broken. Move the player to the board and then obviously catch it for an out and then throw it to the relevant base. I will say that we've had a couple of minor but very important fixes again take place. Diving and jumping catches here are now less reliable, meaning you will often drop the ball. You're no longer like the Cirque du Soleil of the baseball world. And then the players here, the auto select option, it could be a bit finicky last year. This time you've got an easy option to rotate to the next player available with a push of the left trigger. Small fixes, but I will say really important ones for many of you out there who are going to be making another visit to this franchise. So while we're on the team as a whole, also player stats, they continue within the series, with each player having a combination of ratings, including things like speed, power, so on. But this year we actually now see the first inclusion of traits. Here you'll find that players can have 0, 1 or 2. These, they can impact them in both positive but also negative ways. For example, here we've got the low ball trait. This gives this particular player a contact boost when swinging at pitches in the lower half of the strike zone. Whiffer though, that's a negative, and it actually lowers your contact percentage after 2 strikes, so on your 3rd swing. It's an interesting mechanic that I will say I was a little skeptical about at first, but honestly it actually kind of felt realistic, like it was almost showing a player's emotional response and the idea that they will have, personal strengths and weaknesses in different areas. It's something you need to be accounting for at all times, so that is for sure, and you will very much notice the difference it makes. So when it comes to gameplay modes, then we see the return of Exhibition, a standard 1v1 mode including local and online, elimination mode, a bracket system, season mode where you play through an entire season, and then finally pennant race. This is the online mode where you are assigned a rating, class and division, and you compete against like a specific group of teams to see who can take that top spot within a time frame. If you're concerned about finding online games too, don't worry, this one, it's not only cross-play amongst different consoles and PC, but additionally they're actually releasing a limited demo version where anyone can basically go online and play a game. It's going to cut down any sort of long wait times. These modes then, they are padded with the amazing customization options where you can literally build out an entire team and customize everything from the logo, the team name, to the way each player looks, the gear they even use. Actually, even the intro songs, as they move into position. You could waste literally hours in here building out your favorite teams, whether it's, your favorite real team, a dream team, or even simply, well, wherever your creativity takes you. I'm going to be doing a movie heroes team, and John Wick, he's going to be my pitcher. The big new inclusion though for gameplay modes this year, that's the franchise mode. It's similar to season mode, except now you're managing the team directly. So basically expect to be managing things like budget, boosting player stats, signing and dropping players, but then also watching age play its part on your team. So for example, the younger ones, they might get better as you continue, but those old legends will sadly face retirement with their stats quickly dropping before you know it. Super Mega Baseball 3 though absolutely benefits from this inclusion, adding a much needed layer of depth to the whole experience that I will say was always kind of lacking. Look, overall Super Mega Baseball 3 recognises the strengths of the series and it doesn't deviate too much. They know what we love, but they've added some real value. They've added some real game changers that make it feel very much like a big step up from the last entry. Is it mainly tweaks? Yes, as I say, but they just add so much, whether it's the gameplay for pitching, batting, to the simple moments of stealing a base. Everything at this point just feels optimized and fine-tuned, and I can confidently tell you this, on a gameplay front, this is the best the series has ever been. Super Mega Baseball 3 commits again to its cartoon-like visual style, love it or hate it. For me, I'm very much a fan. I think it very much adds the personality of the game. This year though, the character models are as good as ever, somewhere between like a plastic toy and Pixar. This year though, then they've added on things like new animations to just make it feel a little bit different, whether it's, in celebration of a victory or simply disappointment as a moment goes horribly wrong. The style, like I said, you already know if you like it by this point, and this game is not going to change your mind about it. I'm a fan of its unique approach, but I do appreciate it's not going to be for everyone out there. Stadiums then too, they look great where they resemble something realistic, but you're never far from finding something a little bit, unusual, like their Hawaiian theme or like the SeaWorld one where there's a whale statue proudly on display. They make for some interesting backdrops, and while I would still like more, the additional 4 here is still a pretty decent increase, taking the game from 10 locations to 14. Stadium stadiums now too, you can expect some new weather effects taking place from day and night, to sunsets to closed rooftops. A small touch, but visual variety, it's always appreciated. My favourite update this year though, it's the screen overlay, the interface itself. I was never a fan of last year's, it felt a little bit too much like a cell phone game, and they've made a serious improvement, giving you quick access to the information you need while keeping it in a much cleaner style, I suppose. You can quickly track strikes, balls, outs and so on. This to me just made everything a little bit easier to understand with a quick glance. With that though, now I will say the Switch build has some graphical issues. First of all, they've kind of toned down the colour palette from the vibrant appearance of the last couple of years' entries, and I'm not quite sure if it works personally. Sure, the grass and the dirt of the diamond, they look more realistic now, but I'm not sure if they particularly complement the character designs. Outside of this then, we do have a few more issues as well. The crowd is still low detail, repetitive and largely lifeless, but the big issue for me this year, we've taken a big hit on clarity. Pixelation's just evident nearly every direction you look, a lot worse than last year's entry, but the big thing, popping. I noticed on multiple occasions, weirdly, players in the outfield seem to be missing arms as they pop in at the last moment prior to a catch, or they simply move a bit closer to you. It's a weird graphical glitch that in no way impacts the gameplay itself, but it still needs some attention as soon as possible because it's very like immersion breaking nearly immediately as you see this player running the catch with, yeah, no arms. Overall, look, visuals, they've had a few tweaks here and there, some for the better, some for the worse. A quick fix for the popping though, I think that's the big thing, and you can be mostly happy with what you get here. It's just a shame to see not only such a weird problem there, but this new colour palette that kind of takes away the life and the excitement of the visual display they've always went for. So audio last up then, and it's not bad. The sound effects come with weight, whether you're sliding to that next plate, striking the ball or throwing a pitch. Each falls exactly where I would have expected it to, and it's an extremely satisfying audio field. Then we see the return of umpire announcements and occasional voices that are a nice touch. I would have liked some small moments of commentary honestly, and also maybe some more crowd reactions outside of, you know, just simply cheering. But on the sound effects front, yeah, it's not bad at all. Music then, and I will say though, they've toned down some of the in-game music, which I actually prefer. They're leaving the audio work here to the stadium alone, which makes a lot of sense. When it comes to the menus though and player themes as they walk up to bat, there is more options than ever though. There's tons of genres, there should be something for everyone's taste, and I really did like this inclusion. Look, overall on an audio front, it's not really a step up in any way, but it's a small one in the right direction. Next year though, let's get more bold and start bringing these locations to life and mirror the, you know, the capacity and how crazy some of these crowds can get. Super Mega Baseball 3 comes to the table with gameplay tweaks that make it feel the best it ever has, while also introducing this new comprehensive gameplay mode in franchise. On top of this then, they've also tweaked the ones we already knew and loved for the better. Then they've improved batting, pitching, rival team AI. They've made it more challenging and intense than ever. Sadly though, this great core experience is let down by visuals that are somewhat lacking due to popping and pixelation, and the audio, it's not bad, but it still kind of has a long way to go before it truly captures the feeling of being at the ballpark. Now at this point as well, before I get to that final score, the price point I will say is a little questionable, with a price increase no matter what region you're in. For example, the second entry in the US was $29.99 last year. This one's $44.99. That's a pretty big increase if you ask me, and now they're kind of approaching the region of borderline AAA. If you love Super Mega Baseball as a series, I have no doubt you're going to love this one. If you love baseball, this is the best it gets on the Switch. I wouldn't even consider RBI unless you absolutely need real teams. Sadly though, this price point is a little steep for those who just want to simply give a baseball game a go, and I'd probably actually recommend for you taking a look at the second entry. I've got no doubt there's going to be an inevitable price drop as soon as this one hits the eShop. Today though, I'm giving Super Mega Baseball 3 a good 7 out of 10. And what it lacks in visuals and audio, it more than makes up for with the fantastic and addictive translation of the sport. No baseball fan should miss this one, even if it does come with that premium price point that I will say is kind of pushing it a little bit. Fix up the graphical issues though, and then you can bump this one easily up to a great 8 out of 10. Plus the team who makes this one, Lite Software, I have a lot of faith in them. I have no doubt they'll get patches out there, they'll get fixes done. They've always looked after the second game. I have no doubt it won't be exactly the same experience here. Thanks for watching today. If you are new here, why not check out another video over on the channel? We have reviews and eShop deal breakdown videos each and every week. Then why not even grace us with your presence permanently and hit that subscribe button if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family. You'll be in great company with the community we're building right now. With that, I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.